Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Plant Wisdom with Jen and Alex. I'm Alex and I'm the herbalist of the duo. Basically, my mission and my goal is to help everybody realize that we are in control of our own bodies and we could take our health into our own hands. And there's a lot of things we don't learn, but hopefully through these videos you can learn some things that you can take with you to take the natural path and take charge of your own health.
Oh.
Pass this on to my friend.
So, hi everybody, I am Jen. I am the yogi of the duo. So, my background is in yoga and meditation. I'm also a Reiki practitioner and I'm an ASL interpreter. So, my mission is really is access, really making the healing arts accessible to everybody. Never too bad, never too old, never too sick, never too broken to begin again from scratch. And thank you to Bikram Chowdhury for that. But it's definitely become a mantra that I want to live by. And I just want to help people to see the good in themselves and develop a recipe for wellness of mind, body, and soul. So that's me. All right, back to Alex.
All right, so today we're going to talk a little bit about adrenal health and our stress response and how that really relates to our physical wellness. For now, we're going to talk about all the environmental factors that actually play a huge role into things that we don't even necessarily have control over unless we learn these things. So hopefully...
Hashtag adrenal fatigue.
Yeah, I love that hashtag. Okay, so what are some things externally that are really having a role on our hormonal imbalances that really play into all different things that we'll talk about? So some of them, a major one is plastic. So plastics is xenoestrogen, and it acts basically, you're gonna hear that term a lot, xenoestrogen, that acts as estrogen in the body. So plastics, one of them, a lot of makeups are, a lot of cleaners, a lot of products most people will have in their house under their kitchen sink, perfumes. A big one too is a lot of vegan products have, unorganic soy, and that also acts as xenoestrogen in the body. So we just want to make sure we're not getting too many of these factors in. Another huge one is fluoride. So fluoride's found in most of our waters, and even like Brita filters don't filter out fluoride, and it's in toothpaste and stuff like that. So fluoride actually calcifies our pituitary gland, and we're going to get into all of what that means and what that does for our body, but just throwing that out there for you now to think about. And
yeah. So Alex is talking about these chemical factors and how they influence us on a cellular level. And I'm sure she's going to speak some more also about the gut health. But it just makes me think from a social, emotional, and physical, from a yogic perspective, when our bodies are so laden with all of this toxic stuff, and when our our hormones become out of balance, it's very difficult. Even if you can get yourself into a posture, it's difficult to rewind and go down to the cellular level when we are so laden with all these toxic things. One of the things Alex and I have been talking about is the idea of fight or flight. In caveman days, that made a lot of sense, right? We needed to be in fight or flight. Our cortisol levels go up, we become very aware, we're looking for food, we want to protect ourselves. Unfortunately, as we've moved into this age of technology and the pace has quickened, and we're multitasking to the extreme, this has created that same effect, this fight or flight and this spike in cortisol. And while it helps us to get a lot done, it's also hugely taxing on our energy, on our body, and on our emotions. So I'm hoping Alex can address a little bit more from a plant perspective. And as we move into what are the solutions for these things, I'll talk about yoga and meditation as a alternative. But for today, we're going to focus more on how to balance our hormones and get out of this fight or flight response from an internal hormonal perspective.
All right. So before I mentioned a little bit about fluoride and how that affects our pituitary gland. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with HPA axis, or you've heard of it kind of like in passing. So the HPA axis is actually an axis throughout our whole body that is a messenger system for when Jen was saying at caveman times, a tiger was coming into the tribe and everyone had to, down their inflammation and just be like no pain response, just be like, attached. HPA axis, there's the hypothalamus gland, there is the pituitary gland, and then there is the adrenals. So these are all working together to have different hormones come out at different times. So the adrenals and the way that they all are working together, basically when we are in a response where that is needed, unfortunately now it's kind of all over the time, especially when there's a external factor coming in like plastic or something. But our hypothalamus actually sends messages throughout the body, and it's sending messages to our adrenals to produce more cortisol, basically. So when we're producing more cortisol, our immune response actually goes down, our inflammation goes down, but this is all short term. Long term, it actually does the opposite. So we're seeing a lot of autoimmune disease and a lot of gut health related issues. Basically, everything's shutting down when we are in this fight or flight response that you hear a lot. And this is all basically from the cortisol affecting everything, because in those times it was needed, like Jen was saying, that everything kind of shuts down, our digestion, our immune response, our pain, our inflammation, because we needed to focus then. But this is long lasting and making things very, very chronic. So very chronic in our digestion, very chronic as far as thyroid health, which is another thing with the thyroid is taking in all these external factors. It's very receptive to that, and that's why we're seeing so many thyroid issues as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love the fact that we can actually trace this back to something, because many times, there's the stuff we can control, right, in our day-to-day, like, oh my God, I'm so anxious. And it's like, okay, don't drink a vat of coffee in the morning. Mm-hmm. So there are certain things that we have to be honest about. What can we control that we're doing to perpetuate this kind of anxiety and depression and whatever else? But then there's the stuff that I felt was out of my control, and that's why I love this kind of working with Alex, because she traces it back to our root, traces it back to the cellular level. Mm-hmm. And there are things that it's very difficult to control, but there are solutions. From a yoga perspective, obviously there's yoga, deep breathing, prana, oxygen, going to the brain. If we like that fight or flight, going back to that again, when we are in shallow breathing mode, we are not in our best thinking, processing, relaxed state. So when we are chronically in that, our body can't take that level of stress. So we'll do a whole nother series on yoga, meditation, the power of our thinking and our thoughts. But for today, let's just focus on 3 things that can help us on the cellular level to recover from this fight or flight, cortisol injection, and all the learning how to just kind of regulate the hormones through our plants, our food, and our supplements.
Right, so I actually love what Jen was just saying about, deep breathing and coming back, because we really are supposed to be in our parasympathetic response most of the time. But unfortunately, we're usually in the sympathetic, which is the fight or flight, where parasympathetic is rest and digest. So you probably heard those terms. But yeah, we're supposed to always be in this, relaxed state unless something comes at us. But, we only are in our parasympathetic state when we maybe head over to a yoga class or go for a massage or, get our nails done or something. So it's totally flipped. So just to share, some of the solutions that we were thinking about. So one of the hormones that we make is DHEA, and this is really helpful. It's kind of like our fountain of youth hormone, because it's really helpful it's helping us promote energy, sleep, vitality, recovery from exercise, emotional trauma, and it actually stimulates our human growth hormone. So DHEA is found from wild yam extract, And we can actually get that from some of our Young Living supplements, including the Cortistop. So when they're saying that it's called Cortistop, DHEA is literally doing that in our body. So there's other things in that supplement, but that's one of the main things that's really helping our mood and, you know, balancing out those high cortisol responses.
Awesome. So that's Cortistop. And what other things help to address hormones and gut health?
So gut health is very important, just because we need to absorb everything so that we can actually use it where we need in our blood and our other organs and our HPA axis. Major thing is that we need to get all this processed out of our liver, because our liver is kind of the cheesecloth through the body. Everything has to go through the liver first to be processed out, whether we, you know, excrete it out or if it goes into our blood to be used for nutrients. So you know, all these xenoestrogens are being processed there and a lot gets stagnant there. So some of the things we can be using actually is a lot of liver support, especially in the spring. This is all about liver health and really cleansing out what's been stagnant in there. So we have a supplement called Sulfurzyme, and that actually has MSM in it, which is a great supplement that to use to really clear out that liver. We could also use Citrus Fresh, which is in the starter kit, and we could just apply that right to the liver, which is on your right side under the breast area, and that actually produces glutathione, which is another helpful one to help clean out the liver. So that's another one.
Awesome. So we addressed 3 different ways. Obviously, the yoga, meditation, and breathing is going to be another video that we'll address more directly, and absolutely incorporating essential oils into this deep breathing is going to permeate the cell walls. It's going to feed into the limbic part of the brain where we store our memories and emotions, and absolutely we're going to address that in a video. But for today, I think the big takeaway is that we have to regulate our hormones. Don't let our hormones run the show based on these external toxins that are assaulting us, and part of them that we're actually being complicit in taking into our bodies through our laundry detergent, through our dishwasher detergent, through the things we put on our skin. Let's begin at the cellular level with these supplements, right? Cortistop, Sulfurzyme, Citrus Fresh. Every little tiny step matters and counts. So let's begin that process of eliminating some of those factors that are spiking up the cortisol, which are adding to our immune deficiencies and imbalances. And let's just take it back into our own hands, take our healing back in our own hands, and not succumb to the idea of that we need a pill, we need Western medicine. Mother Nature knew best, and doctors still flee to India to go talk to the Ayurvedic practitioners about how to go into the woods and back to the earth to harness all of its healing powers. And I know Alex has been a big inspiration to me through that. So last thing is that Alex and I, as you know, are Young Living distributors, which means that if you would like to order any of these products or learn more about them, please contact us. We'd love to share. Obviously, we're making videos about it. It's important to us, and you being on our team and in our journey is definitely a great blessing to us. So we're here to love you, support you, and I'm going to leave Alex's member number at the bottom, so contact us anytime. We're here.
I'll leave another note. We are in Conscious Contact Healing Arts right now, Jen's beautiful space where she has manifested and created a safe space for everybody to, you know, come and just gather and deep breathe and, you know, talk through these things that, you know, live deep inside of us. So if you ever want to come out here in Wantagh, New York, it's a really beautiful space. It definitely changed my life so far. So
awesome.
All right.
Yes, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you on the mat or here on social media.
You guys would like to see.
Oh yeah, what videos do you want to see? Let us know. Send us some love.